Hi there, it's Aule. In this video, I'll present to you the Lego grid and its implications for high-level mocks. I expected my building technique videos to be a little too technical and therefore too niche. However, you disproved me twice with the resonance to my previous video about building techniques and this survey. While I was preparing my next castle video, I realized that it might make sense to cover the basics first in separate videos, so here we go. The units of concern are studs, plates and bricks. I'm not sure whether studs are universally used as a unit the way I use it, but to me it definitely is very helpful this way. One stud is the width of a 1x1 brick or plate or tile or whatever, one plate is the height of any plate, and one brick is the height of a regular brick. All of these units are a measurement of distance, but depending on the situation, one may be more useful than the other. One brick is the same as 3 plates, and one stud is the same as 2.5 plates. This is really the basis for everything. Memorizing it will definitely be a good idea. With this information in mind, we can take a closer look on various studs not on top, in short, SNOT techniques. There are various pieces that enable SNOT techniques. The most common ones fall into two categories: brackets and brick modified with stud. These enable rotation of building direction by 90 degrees. A bracket is basically half a plate vertically attached to a plate. They are either hanging or standing. Note that when the bracket's face has one stud up or downwards, you cannot match its end with just plates, as you would need 1.5 studs below. Remember, a stud equals 2.5 plates, one of which is already contained within the bracket itself. If the face has 2 studs up or downwards, you can match it with plates, as it now has a height of 5 plates. Brick modified with stud are, like the name suggests, bricks with studs attached right on them. When you attach a plate on these brick modifieds, you can see that they don't align at the bottom. As a brick has a height of 3 plates and a stud has 2.5 plates, there will be a distance of half a plate remaining. This can be helpful when you are building right onto a base plate or something, but more often than not you will find yourselves annoyed by that gap. This gap can be closed by adding 2 more plates below the brick modified and doing SNOT over the entire height. For this exact purpose there also exists this brick. It can provide higher stability while limiting your flexibility. Another famous SNOT brick is the light brick. It was the first ever SNOT brick and initially it was used as car lights, but it has come a long way since then. Unlike the normal brick modified with one stud, here the stud basically has an indent of half a plate. This makes it very useful in many occasions. For example, you can put a plate and then a bracket underneath. The brackets and light brick surface will be exactly a plate apart. I would also like to mention Technic bricks as SNOT bricks. I was told that the hole isn't quite level with the brick modifieds with stud, but I've never faced any consequences ignoring this fact. The hole is basically just a negative stud, which can be very useful on various occasions. There are also these funny plate modified. It is important to notice that these studs are not centered. If you attach a plate to them, they align with the bottom edge. As these plate modified have a height of 2 plates, when you attach a plate on their side, the plates stand over by half a plate on top. This means that if you put a brick modified with stud on top of these, you are back in the grid. You wouldn't get this by stacking these plate modifieds on top of each other. There are also some pieces that enable rotation of building direction by 180 degrees, however, most of them are only produced by alternative manufacturers. From Lego, we have the rings. These are able to connect 2 studs and have a thickness of slightly more than a plate. Usually the slight difference won't be a problem though. Also from Lego, we have these funny plate modifieds, however, I consider them very impractical. From other manufacturers, we have these plate modifieds with studs on both sides, as well as these single hollow studs. This is how to use them. Some parts that may not be missing in a video about the Lego grid are the so-called jumpers. They exist in 3 variants: 1x2, 1x3 and 2x2. The 1x2 and 1x3 jumpers do basically the same thing, they shift the grid by half a stud. The 2x2 jumpers shift the grid by half a stud in both directions. this unfortunately doesn't connect very well to the rest of the grid. Imagine through jumpers you have this gap here, which you would want to close. It obviously has a width of half a stud. Now, a stud is the same as 2.5 plates, so half a stud is 1.25 plates, and we don't have any way of building a quarter of a plate. This may be sub-ideal when you're trying to build something clean and smooth, but when building something bumpy like an old castle, this may not be of concern. Slopes are usually known for making simple roofs, but they can be useful in very different occasions as well. Therefore, it's good to know their precise shape. Slopes always go straight up for half a plate. From there, they go to the top in a straight line. Same goes for cheese slopes. Inverted slopes have this half a plate straight section on their top. This, for example, tells us that normal 2x slopes go sideways by 1 stud, while going up by 1 brick minus half a plate, so 2.5 plates, so also a stud, which means they actually have a slope of 45 degrees. Now, with all this knowledge in mind, let's tackle 2 example applications. The first one is a window technique I used for the horse merchant's house tower. On top of the window, I wanted to have a roof-like outline. For this, I used 1x2 cheese slopes. By sticking cheese slopes on top of each other upside down, you get a 1x1x1 studs cube. So by placing 1x1 cheese slopes upside down on the 1x2 cheese slopes, I deduced the problem to connecting these upside down parts at a height of 1 stud respective to the window's upper edge. As 1 stud height makes 2.5 plates, I can't just use plates with studs on both sides or single hollow studs. A perfect solution would be to have a brick modified pointing down at 2.5 plates of height, as its upper edge would be back in the grid at a height of 5 plates. And this is easily achieved with a normal brick modified and Technic brick on the other end. The second application is an issue I faced lightly while building my castle. I had stairs coming up, and above these stairs I wanted to have a pointed arch in the wall, so you won't smack your head into it while ascending. My main issue here is that the stairs have a width of 3 studs, and there are no complete arch pieces of this distance, so I had to puzzle my way to a custom one. The first measure I have to take is to shift the grid by half a stud, so I can work with an even number of studs. This allows me to use these inverted slopes to create the top of the arch. Now, below that, the arch has to become steeper to match the shape. Also, I only have half a stud left on each side before I would reach the edge. The closest I can get here are cheese slopes on the side. They are steeper, and here the slope goes on for another 1.5 plates. This, unfortunately, is more than half a stud, which would be 1.25 plates. But as I said before, quarter plates are really negligible, especially when talking about an old castle. So now I have the arch's shape done. It just needs to be incorporated into the wall, which is way easier said than done. Starting on the bottom, we have the jumpers. Right on top of them, I place standing brackets with cheese slopes attached to. The brackets face with the width of half a plate, plus the cheese slope with a height of 2 plates is exactly the 1x1 stud on which the inverted slopes have to be mounted on. Now, however, we have a problem similar to the windows. The inverted slopes have to be placed on a height of 2.5 plates respective to the jumpers. The difference is that this time the studs are facing upwards. I solved this problem by placing this plate modified on the inverted slopes, and then I used 2 Technic bricks on either side to connect it all back to the shifted grid. The space in between the Technic bricks is 4 studs minus 2 bricks, which equals 4 times 2.5 plates minus 2 times 3 plates, so 4 plates, which can easily be filled in. To get back to the normal grid, we need another layer of jumpers. So that's it about the LEGO grid. I hope I was able to bring forward some of this very essential knowledge and enable you to pimp your mocking game. Please let me know how you liked this video. I'd be very happy about constructive feedback on how I might improve these very technical videos. The next one will most likely be about how to build angles, which is another extremely important topic when it comes to bringing your mocks to life. To not miss this or any future videos about the rest of my castle mock and more, don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya!